everyone. I'm Nicole Coulter, and I'm guessing if you're seeing this, you actually know me, but who knows, maybe you're getting this forwarded to you. And basically, I wanted to just jump on tonight, and my intention is to kind of jump on every night at the end of a day and just sort of share my thoughts on how things are going in the world of education right now and the things that I'm hearing and people I'm talking to and developments, because this is really, I know, a stressful time for a lot of parents, a lot of teenagers and children, and everyone's about to start school, or that's what we're supposed to be doing. And there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, and there's a lot of things that we didn't know or see this coming, and we don't know how to handle it. And I know I've been having lots of conversations over the last few months with parents questioning about homeschooling, questioning about what is unschooling and self-directed education. And I have had a lot of one-on-one conversations, and I will still try to make myself available for that. But I figured this would be a place where people can ask questions, and I'll try and answer them right away. I'm also creating a community for people to actually be supported on a more wide scale at this point. But really, I wanted to just say that whether you've decided to homeschool or you are even curious about it, or in the case of a conversation I had today where somebody called me and said, like, what do I do? My teenager is saying they will not go back to school. And our town is not offering distance learning, and I don't know what to do. And I really just want to share resources about, that's not a time to panic. If you think about it, the world is a very uncertain place. And if your teenager is feeling uncertain, or even your children, and you can provide and sit with them and be curious about, what would they do otherwise? And, some people are thinking like, oh, well, I'll just do online schooling. And there are some online options, and I don't know anything about those. I can't really give any sort of feedback on any particular one over the other, because it's not something I've spent, the last 5 years researching. But what I have spent the last 5 years researching is the fact that I started studying creativity because we just lost the man who made the TEDx talk of all time called "Do Schools Kill Creativity?" And he inspired me to go study creativity in my master's degree. And I was pretty sure that schools were killing creativity before I started studying it, but afterwards I really know that the way that school is currently designed, it is. And so at this point, I've spent the last 5 years really digging deep into what is self-directed education, what does it take to facilitate that, how do the children learn, where do they learn, what does it look like? And those are the things that I want to share more stories around. The ways that you can access some of the things I'm currently sharing is that, and I'll put it in the notes on this video, is that I've been hosting a weekly meetup for some people who are curious about unschooling and self-directed education, and I have a YouTube playlist with those videos. And I'll say that the one with Gina Riley, who is an unschooling researcher and a professor of education at CUNY Hunter College, is a phenomenal one to first listen to. There's Jethro Jones, who is a former principal, and he has also talked about all the ways that he sees schools could change to really embrace self-directed education. And then there's, one where there's a young woman, Geeta, who took herself out of high school 2 years early. And she describes that. And the week before, her father described, what it was like to have his daughter convince him and his wife to leave school. So I can share an abundance of resources, and I am creating a safe space for people to kind of wrestle with this stuff together. And so I just want people to know that if you're encounter people who are having this struggle, please let them know. There's people like me who have been, I don't want to say waiting for this, because that's not right, but just knowing that I can share something from my experience as to how this could be an actual really good opportunity for your young person, your child, to actually create an education of their own design, or with your help, actually design a learning experience, whether that's obviously for a high schooler, they're completely capable of figuring out what they want and how to learn it. And if they're not completely capable of doing that on their own, there are people like me and others that can help them with that. But if they're younger, then you kind of have to help them. You have to be their facilitator, not their teacher, their facilitator. And I'll talk more about that role as well in the coming times that I speak, but I'll be here at 7 o'clock each night. That's my intention. And so I encourage you to put comments and questions in the chat so that I can answer them day after day. Okay? So we're going to get through this, and I think all of us can be better off as humans, as learners, as families, if we just don't get too derailed by this whole school thing, okay? So we've been doing this coronavirus thing for a few months now, and just because school's starting back up and it looks like chaos doesn't mean chaos has to become your life. It doesn't, okay? So until next time, have a good night.